Hey guys, it's Robert Hall, and in today's video I want to talk about triggering other brands' lighting using Godox equipment. Right now I'm building an FAQ for the Godox user group, that way we can avoid answering redundant questions. If you're not in the Godox user group already, it's linked in the description below. It's a Facebook group with 40,000 Godox users that help one another out and share photos. A common question that we see in the group is people who are coming from one lighting system and navigating into Godox lights, and maybe they bought one Godox light and one Godox trigger, but they still have all these other lights that they want to integrate with the Godox system. Now the great thing about the Godox system is that it's wireless. I can pick up this trigger and this flash, and without any other radio equipment, no receiver, nothing on the hot shoe, I can use this trigger to fire this flash. But that's a proprietary radio system built into Godox equipment that is only designed to work with Godox X Series equipment. So the only things that are compatible are Godox X Series masters and Godox X Series slaves. So no, by default, if you're using a Godox master such as a Godox X Pro or this R2 Pro Mark II from Flashpoint or the Godox V1 or the Zoomlion R2, all of those are masters that can control any of the other Godox X Series lights as well as their rebrands. However, you cannot just take a Nikon SB800 and expect it to fire off of these because the Nikon SB800 does not have any radio system installed, and if it did, it would be proprietary to Nikon to avoid you from purchasing Godox lights to work with it. But there are products out there that allow you to connect Godox triggers to other devices. The most common thing that you would use would be the Godox X1R receiver. Now this receiver has a shoe on it, and it also has, I believe it's a 3.5mm port on it that allows you to connect to any strobe that has a sync jack. So if you want to mount a speed light to it, you can put that on top of the shoe. Or if you'd like to connect to a strobe, you can use a cable between the sync jack of the X1R and the sync jack of the strobe. Now I think the X1R is the best receiver to buy simply because it gives you the most flexibility. You can connect it to a strobe, and no, you're not going to get TTL or high-speed sync or anything like that because that port doesn't support it, and it's likely that your light doesn't either. Or you can connect it to a speed light. And if you're using a speed light, there's a chance that you will get high-speed sync and TTL if it's available on your flash equipment and on your camera. So, say you're using a Nikon camera and you have a Nikon Godox transmitter such as the X Pro N, and you have an SB800. If you use an X1RN, that is the X1 receiver for Nikon, then you can still get high-speed sync and TTL. And you'll still get manual control of the light too. All you have to do is put the Nikon speed light in TTL, put it on top of the X1R, and then align the group and channel, and you'll be able to connect those two devices. So before I go into this next part, let's make sure we're clear. A transmitter transmits a signal from a camera to other equipment. A receiver receives the signal from the transmitter and then communicates that to whatever device it is connected to. So the receiver is built in on the Godox X Series equipment. And then there's a transceiver, which can act as a transmitter or a receiver. Now that that's out of the way, there is a transceiver available from Flashpoint that only works as a single pin, which means there will be no HSS or TTL, but it is a nice and simple solution that allows you to control multiple groups of Godox lighting or function as a receiver so that you can connect other lights to Godox equipment. So yes, you can integrate other non-Godox lighting into the Godox X Series, but their functions and the level of control are really dependent on the lighting equipment that you're using. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, keep on shooting.